Hey, welcome back. Sometimes the biggest lessons come from the smallest places. Today, we're going to go on this awesome journey that kicks off in a German pub and somehow winds up in Iceland. And our key to unlocking some really cool German grammar? Well, it's something you'd probably never even think to look at twice.
So really, what secrets can a German beer coaster possibly hold? In German, you'd call it a Bierdeckel. And yeah, sure, it's great for stopping your glass from making a ring on the table, but it's also a tiny window into German culture and, believe it or not, German grammar. Let's find out how.
All right, so in a lot of German pubs, the bartender actually uses your coaster to keep a running tab, just little pencil marks for every drink you have. But they've also been used for all sorts of public campaigns, spreading these really important social messages. And one coaster in particular has a message that is the perfect jumping-off point for us today.
Now, this might sound a little pessimistic, right? But for us, grammatically, it is an absolute goldmine. The word you want to focus on is können, which means can. And that one little word, well, that's our key to unlocking one of the most powerful and useful types of verbs in the entire German language.
You see, können is what's called a modal verb. Now, these are really special. They don't usually show up alone. Instead, they team up with another verb to add extra shades of meaning. Things like ability, permission, or obligation. They're kind of like the secret ingredient that adds all the flavor and nuance to your sentences.
So, how do you use them? The rule is actually way simpler than it sounds. Let's go back to our coaster. Wir können losen. Okay, see? The modal verb, können, is sitting right there in the second spot, and it's changed to match the subject, wir. And then what happens? The main action, losen, to solve, just gets punted all the way to the very end of the sentence in its original form. That's it. That's the pattern you need to remember.
And here's the whole family. These 6 verbs are your essential toolkit for expressing yourself. You've got dürfen for permission, können for ability, möchten when you'd like something, müssen for when you absolutely have to do it, sollen for when you should, and wollen for when you want to.
Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually works in a real conversation. We're going to listen in on our native speaker friends, Ralph and Mia. They're planning a big trip to Iceland, and you're about to hear these verbs pop up all over the place as they figure out their plans.
Mia gets right down to business. Wir müssen. We must. She uses müssen because, let's be real, packing warm clothes for Iceland is not optional. It's a total necessity. And look, where's the main verb, kaufen, to buy? All the way at the end. Perfect.
And here comes Ralph with a different modal verb. He asks, darf ich? Am I allowed to? He's not stating a fact like Mia was. He's politely asking for permission. This is such a great, everyday example of how dürfen softens things up in a conversation.
Okay, so they know what they need to pack, but the big question is, when should they actually go? To figure that out, we're going to need a little bit of new vocabulary. Let's talk seasons and months. So here they are, the 4 seasons and the months that go with them. Now here's a super handy trick for you. Notice the article der in front of every season. In German, all seasons, all months, and all days of the week are grammatically masculine. That little rule will save you so much guesswork. And learning about seasons brings us to one of my absolute favorite German words, Lieblingsjahreszeit. It's just one of those awesome, super specific words German does so well. It's made of Liebling, which means favorite or darling, and Jahreszeit, which means season. So, it literally means favorite season. What's your Lieblingsjahreszeit?
All right, let's connect our new time vocabulary to another really important piece of grammar, the accusative case. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. You might know it as the case for the thing in the sentence that's getting the action done to it. But in German, it has another really important job.
And this is that other job right here. Whenever you use a phrase to talk about a specific point in time, like every summer, you have to put it in the accusative case. Just look at the difference. On the left, every summer is the subject, so it's jeder Sommer. But on the right, when it's telling us when we fly, it changes to jeden Sommer. It's a subtle but crucial change. But wait, there's more. There's also this little group of prepositions that I like to call the grammar bullies. Why? Because anytime you use one of these words, they automatically force whatever noun comes after them into the accusative case. There's no negotiation, no exceptions. They're the bosses.
Let's get Ralph back in here to show us how it works. He says, Ich habe ein Geschenk für dich. The preposition is für, for,
And since für is on our list of bullies, the word for you has to change to its accusative form, dich. See? Simple as that. And here's Mia with another perfect example. She uses the word gegen, which means against. And because gegen is one of those accusative prepositions, the phrase that follows it, mein Lebensmotto, automatically goes into the accusative case. You can see how these rules are just woven into natural, everyday German.
So just think about the trail we followed. Isn't it cool? We started with a random message on a beer coaster. That little message unlocked the whole system of modal verbs. Then, watching Ralph and Mia use those verbs to plan a trip led us straight to talking about time, and that led us to the rules of the accusative case. It really is all connected.
And to wrap things up, I'm going to leave you with a little brain teaser, a fun piece of German cultural trivia. We've all heard of Oktoberfest, right? But when do you think it actually begins? The answer is probably not what you think. Something to ponder. Until next time.